All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to This Explainer. Today I am talking directly to you, the retail managers, the frontline leaders, the shift supervisors, the folks who unlock the front doors and walk the floor every single day. We are digging into Chris Albury's Built from the Aisles Up, a retail leadership survival guide, and specifically, we're doing a serious reality check on merchandising today. We're going to treat merchandising not as some corporate window dressing or just another tedious task to check off your clipboard, but as a vital daily survival tool for driving your sales.
Because look, merchandising isn't just about making things look pretty. I want you to picture this everyday store reality. You absolutely know the exact one I'm talking about. A customer comes in, they're looking for something specific. Now, the product definitely exists under your roof. It's in the building. Maybe it's sitting on a pallet back and receiving. But the customer walking your aisles, they can't find it. That gap right there, between the product physically being inside the building and the customer being able to easily put their hands on it, that gap is literally costing you sales right this very second.
So this brings us to what we call the inventory illusion, the system versus reality.
Every single frontline floor manager knows this core tension intimately. On one side, you're staring at your computer screen, or maybe your handheld scanner, and the system is proudly screaming at you, "Plenty in stock! We have 40 units!" But then, right on the other side, you have an actual human being standing right in front of you saying, "Yeah, well, I can't find it anywhere." It's a classic trap. As managers, it is so incredibly easy to confuse inventory on a computer screen with actual, physical availability to a shopper. The computer is just measuring data, but your customer, they are experiencing reality.
And if you're not selling what your customers are actively trying to buy, you're just wasting space. It's so frustrating because technically both the system and the customer are right. You do own the product and the customer still can't buy it. But if you let that disconnect persist, you're basically just bleeding money. Think about it. Your aisles are prime real estate. Every square foot of your floor needs to earn its keep. Letting a high-demand item sit invisible while you display slow-moving stock? Actually, scratch that. It's not just a missed opportunity. It's actively working against your own goals.
Let's see how this plays out in the wild. We're looking at the backroom bottleneck, a real retail story.
There is this story straight out of the survival guide that hits the nail perfectly on the head. Imagine a hot seasonal item that was just sitting in the back room. The system showed plenty in stock, everything looked totally perfect on paper, but out on the floor, customers kept repeatedly asking for it. The product was trapped behind those swinging double doors. It was technically in the building, sure, but to the people walking around with wallets ready to spend, it was completely invisible.
Let's break down exactly how this played out. Day 1, the item is totally invisible in the back room. The store has it, the scanner says they have it, but zero sales are happening. Nothing. Day 2, the store team finally decides to act. They haul this seasonal product out of the back and throw it onto a prominent front end cap. They use the layout to dramatically alter the shopping pattern, right? End caps interrupt the customer's journey. They literally say, "Hey, look over here." And just days later, the item is absolutely flying off the shelves. The sales numbers finally match the inventory numbers.
But here is the absolute kicker. Nothing changed about the product itself. Not a single thing. It was the exact same box, the exact same price, the exact same barcode. The only difference in the whole shebang was putting it exactly where the customer expected to see it. Visual layout dictates customer behavior. When you bring that product right into their natural eye line, the product moves. It's really that simple.
All right, let's transition into unpacking the 3 rights. We're going way beyond the corporate buzzwords here.
We hear this phrase constantly, right? From regional managers, from training videos, right product, right place, right time. Honestly, it can start to sound like empty corporate jargon after a while, but in reality, this is the single most practical merchandising truth you can hold on to. If it is not where the customer expects it, it might as well not exist. This isn't fluff from a boardroom somewhere. This is a fundamental survival tactic for you down in the trenches on the floor. You have to anticipate the customer's visual journey and meet them right there. Which leads us directly to the practical application of all this. How do we audit your floor to find those placement gaps?
Because the real question is, how do you, as a manager with a million fires to put out, actually execute this on a regular shift? It's really just a simple, quick floor audit routine. First step, just listen. Check what customers are actively asking for today. Pay attention to the questions you and your cashiers are fielding all day long. Second step, identify where those products are currently placed. Are they buried on the bottom shelf in aisle 12, or worse, stuck on a U-boat cart in the back? Step 3, move them to match the customer's visual expectations. This isn't just about stocking empty shelves. This is about making highly intentional layout choices based on real-time feedback.
But hey, let's be totally real for a second. Shift happens, right? Things get incredibly messy. Pallets show up late, your gorgeous end cap gets shopped down to absolutely nothing in an hour. So the big question is, what does intentional merchandising look like when you're forced to improvise? If you have to throw up a display in 10 minutes because a delivery was wrong and it looks like it was thrown together by accident, the source text warns us straight up, expect confused questions from customers. A sloppy, thrown-together display breaks the customer's trust, and frankly, it just makes the merchandise look like junk.
And that brings us perfectly to our final section, intentional improvisation, the ultimate retail survival tip.
Here is your core takeaway from all this, your ultimate survival tip. Make every single merchandising decision look intentional, even if you had to completely improvise it. I want you to really let that sink in for a second. Whether you spent 3 weeks planning out this gorgeous, massive seasonal display, or 3 minutes filling an empty hole with whatever overstock you happen to find in the back, the customer should never, ever know the difference. You have to own the visual cues on your floor. Straighten those boxes, face the labels right forward, use clear, bold signage. The whole thing must look like you 100% meant to do it.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to really chew on today. Think about your own aisles right now. The minute you step back out onto the floor after this, look around and ask yourself, is your best product just sitting there waiting in the system, completely invisible and unsold? Or is it waiting right where your customer can actually see it? I challenge you to look at your store with completely fresh eyes today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go out there and close that gap.